In addition to using different panels, you'll also spend a lot of time in Photoshop just switching between different tools. Now, almost every tool has a shortcut. For example, the Move tool has a shortcut of V, and the Marquee tool has a shortcut of the M key. So if I tap the M key, I get the Marquee tool. If I tap the V key, I get the Move tool. Now, if you don't know the keyboard shortcut for a tool, you can hover your cursor on top of it, and by default, it will show a tooltip. However, in a previous video, I actually turned off the tooltips by going to the Preferences and then Tools and then disabling Show Tooltips. And I'm going to leave that off for now. The tools that have the little triangle in the lower right, that tells me that that tool has nested tools with it. So you can click and hold on any of those, and not only does it show you the keyboard shortcut, it also shows you those other nested tools. So if I select the polygonal lasso tool, and then I tap M to select the marquee tool, when I tap L again, it's going to select the topmost tool that is visible on the toolbar. If I want to cycle through all of the other tools, I can hold down the Shift key and then tap L. We can see it cycle through all of the different lassos. If you don't like the default order of the tools, or if you want to hide some of the tools that you don't often use, you can customize the toolbar either by choosing Edit, Toolbar, or by clicking on the More icon, the three dots here, and then choosing Edit Toolbar. Here you can choose to split out nested tools. So if you wanted both the Move tool and the Artboard tool to have their own place on the toolbar, you could just drag this down. You could also rearrange tools. So I could put the lasso tool with my marquee tools if I wanted to. If I didn't want to see a tool, I could drag that tool over into the extra tools. And don't worry, if you put a tool in the extra tool, you still can access it. They're just all found under this More icon. So you would just click and hold there, and you still could access those tools. If you wanted to change a keyboard shortcut for a tool, say for example the elliptical marquee tool, I could select it and then tap whatever key I wanted to use for that shortcut. Just be aware that that shortcut might also be used by some of the other tools. So if you wanted to delete it, you can just select it and then tap the delete key. You can also choose to disable the shortcuts for any hidden toolbar extras. So for example, if I had put something like the gradient tool in the extras and I wanted to disable the G so that as I use the Shift and then tap G to cycle through those tools, I would just enable that here. Now, typically people show the tools that they use most often, but as you learn more and more keyboard shortcuts for the tools, you might actually only want to show the tools that you don't know the keyboard shortcut for. Regardless, you can save different presets or settings of tools by just clicking Save Preset, and you can also load presets if you want to create different combinations of tools for different tasks that you're doing. For right now, I'm actually going to restore the defaults because I want to make sure that in case someone skips this movie, we're looking at the same thing. All right, let's click Done. And three more little shortcuts. By default, the tools are in this single column, but you can change that to a double column by just clicking on the two chevrons there. You can also float your tools by just clicking on the grabber handle and then just dragging them. This can be convenient if you want to put them on a second monitor. For now, I'll go ahead and dock them back to the side of the monitor and put it back to the single column row. And finally, if a tool isn't behaving like you think it should, you can always control click on Mac or right click on the tool icon in the toolbar and reset the tool. And that will reset all of the options for that tool in the options bar. So as you can see, the way that tools are set up and how you access them is very flexible in Photoshop. Don't worry about learning all the shortcuts to all the tools right away. You'll learn the ones that you need, and soon enough, it'll be second nature to just use your keyboard shortcuts to select your tools much more quickly and efficiently in Photoshop.